So we got the Aligned Agent podcast, Jeff Bonk, shooting out of the Wyckoff office, which is super cool. We have 6 locations now and wanted to take kind of the trip back through the 6 years that we've been at EXP.
6 locations, 6 years.
6, yeah.
I mean, it's all 6.
6, yeah. The 6 highlights.
6 highlights.
Yeah.
Which is, 6 years is just crazy, man. I was thinking about earlier today. You didn't have any kids yet.
Yep.
I had one with the other one almost coming. He was like a monster kid now, 6 years old. He wasn't even here when we made this change.
Yep.
And it's like that, right? 6 years flew by. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I remember when we, so it was August of 2018. I remember Gary Keller was on stage with Brad Inman, and he was rattled by Brad talking about EXP Realty. And I had never really heard about it. I actually, dude, it's so clear. Like, I remember sitting in the KW Market Center in Hoboken, and we were watching it. They were live streaming it to the office, which was cool. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, the hell's EXP? I heard about EXP Realty from Gary Keller.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. And Brad Inman. So I started poking around, and I remember saying to David DeVoe, we went and grabbed a beer at, I believe it was Texas, Arizona, or something right down by the path. And we're crossing the street after, and I'm like, would you ever go independent or go to EXP Realty? And he's like, absolutely not. And I was like, well, I'm going to start poking around. And that's when I had met Kyle Whissel and Dan Beer.
Yep.
He brought Tammy Pack into the mix because he knew her from Tom Ferry Coaching. And that leads me to what was my number one highlight, or not one of my top 3 highlights in my EXP journey. We flew into, February 6th was our actual come over date. We flew into Scottsdale, Arizona for a Brent Gove event that only had like 200 people there, which Brent Gove has 20,000 people in his organization at this point. Yeah. Yeah, it's Tony Robbins that speaks out. They're insane. They're in Cabo.
200-person one. That's wild.
Yeah, Brent Gove's flying around on a golf cart. We're out golfing. Like everybody's having super intimate. The CFO or Gene Frederick was there. We're literally drinking wine at a bonfire with just me, Dave DeVoe, and Gene Frederick. Like, it was just or Rob Flick, sorry. But it was just such an incredible experience. And I remember, now I had done 46 million that year at Keller Williams in 2018. So I was good, but I wasn't at like I wasn't a super mega agent. And I remember sitting at this dinner table, and they had taken us out, and it was Dan Beer, Kyle Whissel, Dave and I were sitting across from each other like this. And then we had Parker Pemberton was there, DeRocher, I can't think of her first name off the top of my head. And sitting right next to Dave DeVoe and Mary Maloney was there. Sitting right next to David DeVoe and Tammy Pack, was Jay Kinder. And I never met Jay Kinder. Mm-hmm. And me and Dave are sitting there, and we're listening to Jay talk. And he's got the Southern accent. And you kind of you think he's a Southern boy. I'm from New York City. I'm super cool, blah, blah, blah. And the stuff that starts to come out of his mouth was like, if you had a raw, dude, when I'm sitting at a dinner table, I'm drinking beer and eating food and just shooting the shit. He's right into it. He's he's wired. Yeah, he's surveying the table. He's like, we got these hitters here. He's like, if you had a raw list of 30,000 raw emails, how would you warm it?
That's Jay.
And he just starts talking about it. And you start to hear from Kyle Whissel, and Joe Oz at the table too. And you start hearing everything. And me, Joe, and Dave are looking at each other. And they're talking about, well, first I'd survey it, then this, then I'd A/B, then I'd start warming it up this way, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these guys are different. And then at that moment, I realized I was sitting at a table where I was absolutely the dumbest person in the room. And that has been my experience or my access throughout our journey, where we combined did 557 million, I think, last year in volume. So in 6 years, it went from that to that. There's a lot of growth there, and that is the key factor, the undertone, the proximity, the accessibility that EXP has created. So that's my first highlight. What do you have?
Yeah, and I think you led me right into mine, which is not just the people that are in your company,
Yep.
the people that you say, oh, well, I'm the same company as this person, this person, this person, and I see them at a conference. It's the accessibility, not just the being in under the same banner. Because maybe 6 months after we got into EXP and we got getting to know people a little bit. Went to one mastermind with Jay at the time. He had one in Cincinnati, which I think might be on your list too. It's not what I'm talking about. I was leading into it. Met Jay briefly.
Yep.
We have a flood in our condo. We have the water line breaks. Contractor's like, you got to get out. Only place, the kids didn't have passports yet. We wanted to go someplace warm. Went to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Jay had just moved to Puerto Rico. I met Jay for all of probably 25 minutes of conversation. I shoot him his Facebook message. Like, Jay, we're in Puerto Rico last minute. If you want to grab a beer or something, let me know we're here. He's like, dude, tomorrow, my house, water park, pool. He lives on the Ritz-Carlton property.
Yep.
So it's like this guy who, the way EXP works, right? 7 levels is kind of where you get paid. I think I might be at his 8th. Like, he doesn't actually make money from me. Like, there's no real incentive for him to care that deeply. But there is this feeling and this vibe of just like giving, sharing, without really looking for anything back, right? The go-giver kind of thing. And that's what this company attracts. So we're at the hotel and Jay's like, come over. I'm like, babe, tomorrow I don't know what we had planned, but we're canceling it. We're going to hang out at Jay's $4 million house in the Ritz-Carlton he's renting. He's looking for which one he's going to buy and all this stuff. The kids get there. Jay opens the garage. He's got a Hummer golf cart. Immediately, Bradley's like, Uncle Jay? Instantly, right? He's 4 years old at the time, 3.5, 4 years old. Jay just starts cracking up. I'm like, you're Uncle Jay now, man. The kid's a smart kid, I don't know to tell you. So we all get in this Hummer golf cart. We're ripping down the beach at like 30 miles an hour. Red's freaking out. We're having a time stuff. We wound up at the pool, the water park. I mean, they lived in a fantasy world, right? We're back at his house. The kids are doing gymnastics they have a gymnastics room, pool in the back. And we're just like, I was like, wow, we really have access. And like, we talked about business and like the world and everything like that all day and kind of have like this free flowing conversation of just like, high level conversation of just the stuff that we all geek out on.
Yep.
But it was like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's crazy to have that access and that real connection versus just like a number of people. And you're like, oh yeah, that guy talks from stage. I met him for 5 minutes. Cool. There's a different feel. And that was like my first way to really experience it. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And the day was crazy. And it's an experience we'll never forget. Bradley still talks about Uncle Jay 5 years later.
I gotta get my kids need to meet Uncle Jay.
Right.
I need to make if Jay's watching this, which he's not, but I'll put it in front of him.
Yeah.
We need an Uncle Jay trip to Puerto Rico. It's funny, Uncle Jay in Cleveland or Cincinnati. That's another one for me. And again, I don't know. I feel like I picked too early on, except for my third one, which I'll share. But because it really is the foundation of like that. I had to pay $3,000 to go to this Jeff Glover event, or I had to join Tom Ferry Coaching Team Plus for $3,500 a month, or I had to do this, or I had to do that. I haven't had a coach, knock on wood, and I collaborate with Jen Schiff and you and everything. I don't even have a coach. And that's because I'm so curious. I ask so many questions to the folks that are in our world, whether, like, to your point, even if we're indirectly connected, I could call Ricky Carruth has come on and done masterminds for free, for no reason. There's no direct benefit.
You mentioned Parker before. The information that we've gotten from Parker and the collaboration with him, no financial connection there, right? Just friends that we've made over the years from these people.
Yeah. So that Cincinnati Mastermind was super cool. Another really intimate one. I want to say there were probably 40 people in the room that were all pretty. Gogo Bethke was sitting next to me.
Tina Call on the other side, who are still brand new to the company.
Yeah, me and you sat between Gogo and Tina. And I remember Gogo showing me her rev share at the time. That was like $342. And I'm like, it's not even, why are you excited about that? She's like, my biggest one ever. I'm like, okay, great.
And now you had like 2, 3 zeros on the end of that. Is probably what she's looking at.
Yeah, she went on to be one of the biggest attractors in EXP history for frontline folks. But it's so cool that, like, again, we just saw Gogo in New York City, and she was bringing up that memory of the Cincinnati Mastermind, and you and I ate. What was that? What's it called? What's the
4-way, 5-way?
Yeah, we were eating Skyway chili.
Skyway chili
in the airport on the way out, and you had just had your son too, and Red let you go, and that too was just, it was such a memorable. Curtis Johnson was there.
Brent Gove was in that room.
Yeah, Brent Gove shared some, I'm not going to say it on camera, but he shared some very intimate scenarios around finances and whatnot that you would never guess. But he really, when you talk about playing all out, he really played all out to make rev share a really large income for him. And at the time, I think he only had 3,000 people in his downline then too.
Yeah, that's wild. And I want to hit on, like you said something about coaching, not needing coaching, right? And I remember when we were first coming over, there was someone else that was looking to come to EXP, and they were at another brand still. And they said, well, this brand's going to give me free coaching. They're going to give me free this and that. I said, well, if you're a capper, like you're paying 50 versus 16 and you're getting $12,000 worth of coaching. Let's do the math. I'm looking at all the value that you can get here as part of being just in the downline of the most amazing producers in the country. And that person came over and they're thriving and they're killing it. I don't want to say exactly who it is and blow them up, but like it was insane. How like the math just is when you really look at the value that you get because of the way that things are stacked and aligned that really incentivize people to be shares. I also think like this model, for whatever reason, brings over people who are open to share no matter what. Right? They come over because they want to share and make money, and all the value of creating a revenue share is there. But it also just brings over the type of person who's just like an abundance mentality giver, which is like what we see in a lot of these. Well,
I think too, a lot of folks join EXP because there's a problem within their business that they open up about, and then EXP or collaboration solves that problem, and then so like they come in from value. They're we're leading with value, and they start to really see it, and it really starts to resonate there. And just like from a coaching standpoint, I mean, we have access to John Cheplack, one of the best in the game. Bill Pipes just finished a training for us, week 3 of a 5-week boot camp that we're doing for the whole organization and folks outside of it. I own real estate with Matthew Ferry. I can get Tom Ferry on the phone if need be. I've never needed to, but if I needed to. And Mike Ferry and all of these, like, there aren't a lot of really, really good coaches out there. And they're kind of in where, like, to tap on and lean on if we need something or do anything. And I think that too is where a lot of folks are like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this level of coaching. And a lot of the coaches in the industry right now are broke realtors that are now trying to coach other folks. And I think that that's a big difference. Like when we do work with coaches, they're the best in the game. They're 7-figure earners. But when we're giving advice to the agents within our umbrella, it's based on what we're actually testing in the field. And like you have 55% market share in the most desirable complex in one of the most desirable towns in New Jersey. You did it and still do it.
And we're talking to people within the organization about that all the time. Just go phone Tony from Chicago about that, right? So like the access that we're creating even locally on a smaller scale is kind of like a microcosm of the bigger one. And you kind of set me up for my next one as well, which was San Diego Generals Mastermind. And this was the first one I think they did of the Generals Masterminds about 4 years ago. And you talk about coaching and how like there's a couple good coaches out there. Even the best coaches, there's only like a couple that really can coach teams to a certain level. And when you hit a couple agents and a good system and a good process, maybe 20, 30, 40 million, there's not a ton of people who could take you to 100, 200 and beyond because there's just not a lot of people who've done it. And a lot of those people haven't turned into coaches, Like they're like Bill Pipes, awesome coaching on the agent level, right? That where we got off, right? Like how to talk to leads, convert, create a amazing 7-figure business as a producer, but like how to structure an entire business. He could touch on that too a little bit. He's one of the few, right? But like, there's not a ton. So in San Diego, all of a sudden, I'm with 50 people who all have $100 million business and better. And we got to $100 million 2 years ago, but we were probably at 50 or 40 4 years ago when we went into that room. And I'm, like you said, on the smallest, dumbest people in the room. And over and over and over, I keep trying to put myself in that place. Funny thing is, everyone in that room feels that way, which is the really kind of paradox that you find when you get into those rooms. Everyone feels inferior to be in that room and they're the dumbest person in the room. Just a whole other conversation. But that experience like hit me in a couple places. Like one, 5 or 10 people speaking from stage that were all giving advice on how to build a bigger, stronger, better organization. That was something I never found anywhere else. The other was Dan and Kyle hosted it. They were all in their downline. I think they charged like $300 for the whole thing. And they took us on a harbor cruise. We had a bonfire on the beach one night. We did a crazy hike through Torrey Pines. Like we stayed at Torrey Pines and played 9 holes in the back 9 of Torrey Pines too. Had to wake up like 4 a.m. to get in line for that one. But you can't get tee times because it's public and the public people book them all up, the residents. But it was like they're investing back in the business of revenue share as well. Like there's a real intention to make everyone in their organization grow.
Yep.
It's not just hyperbole. It's not just like mail it in. Let's do a whatever we can minimum. It's like, no. Let's go deep here.
Yep.
Look at the freaking numbers of like all the Colton Whitneys, the Lindsay Stevens, the Parker, like it's crazy. It's worked, right? So having that access both from like learning from them, but also like building relationships with them.
Yeah.
Lindsay and Bruce are some of my best friends now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that doesn't happen normally through like an organization like this. And that was like the real catalyst that I was like, wow, this is real here. This is something that actually exists. The stuff with Jay and all that stuff was more like business, rev share stuff. This was like building your team.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And we've had, I don't know, 5 of them now over the last 5 years, which has been really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I've never been to one of those, but I've heard incredible things really cool about them, and I can't wait to go to the next one that comes about. Yeah, anytime I'm at anything with them that they put together, it's. I mean, EXPCon. Even were you at the flow? Oh no, you had to leave. The Flow Rider party. I'm like, I don't want to go to that. And then I went to it, and I'm like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the picture showed.
But everything that they do, you know, they're down in Cabo. They're doing an awesome job down there, and I think that like. Humble brag, at the time of shooting, we're #1 at all of EXP in the United States. So that's fun. But #2 is Pemberton Homes right now. Fast forward movement. #3, agency team. Fast forward movement. #4, Kenny Fast. Fast forward movement. #5, Whistle Realty. Fast forward. 6, Culbertson is fast forward. 7, I'm not sure. It's Caskey. 8 is Roac. Fast forward. 9 is Porchlight. Fast forward.
They
10,
said,
it's like
at that fast forward event that we had before EXP, I can't remember exactly the numbers, but I think something around fast forward movement inside EXP was 11% of the company. Mm-hmm. So it's 8,000 people or something like that. But it was like 80% of the top 50 teams or something. It was like some crazy thing. And that's what I remember. This wasn't one of the things on my list, but Dan Bureau came into Hoboken. He was going to Inman right before we were moving. It was like, you guys might have made your decision 100%, but I was still like learning and figuring out what was going on. And we were at the 50 Harrison Business Center. Dave rented out the conference room or whatever. And I didn't even know who Dan was really. And he was just like, we're just, everyone's talking about rev share. We're talking about building your business and your team. Yep. Like we're the producers arm of this company. Like we only care about, like we'll build rev share through building our teams. Yep. But a byproduct. Our core is building real estate businesses, and it shows. Like, you look at the numbers. Like, there's not denying it.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, I don't even, when I'm recruiting agents, I don't even get into EXP. Like, I really get into how is 2024, and what awareness have you created around what you can do different in 2025, and what are your goals, and what are you looking to do? And when you talk about like those rooms and stuff that we are all sitting in, I find so many agents that, whether they're team leaders through ego, whatever it may be, like they have access. We can get them into those rooms for free. It won't cost them anything. And they can sit in on the room. And I guarantee that if they'll just sit there, they'll be like, holy shit, they'll have that experience and they will be a better version of themselves leaving that room. And it's just so interesting to me how many folks turn down those rooms. And I feel like you've always been a yes man. You're like, let's go. I'll go sit in that room. I'll go do this. I'll go do that.
Because I just like getting better by being around better people.
Right.
Like, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can like try to read every book and figure out everything, or you just get in the right rooms over and over and over, and the shit rubs off. Yeah. That's what I found over time. Right? Like, that's so much more fun.
Yeah. And that's literally, I think people are always like, oh, you're trying to recruit us? I'm like, no, I'm trying to give you a taste of like what we do, and I want you to sit in on it. And if you want to join us at the end of it, cool, let's rock. If you don't, cool, we're still friends. That's completely fine as well. And go take more listings, do more business, and we'll have nice, easy transactions together.
It goes back to that overall mentality of just giving value to the marketplace. Right. Like I was saying, this company attracts people who just want to give value. Like, we're giving value because we obviously have a business plan. We have a growth mentality that we want to be in business with more people. That's part of what we're doing here. But I don't really care if I invite 10 people to come to our next event and all 10 come and none of them join, because all I care about is providing value. And I know if I provide value to enough people without thinking for what's in return, like my life will get better. Yeah. And that's, exactly what I think you were hitting on there.
Yeah. It's like literally what I was talking about on the Pipes call this morning with the Go Giver again. It's like if you are upset that you lost that listing from somebody that you gave the gift to,
Mm-hmm.
it's because you're not giving the gift to enough people.
And in the right way.
Yeah.
Giving with the expecting of one-to-one return.
Right.
The whole opposite of the idea of that concept, right?
Exactly. So, and then for my final one, Nasdaq Bell.
I mean, come on.
Was that yours?
Can we share that one? I have another one that I had in my back pocket, but like I gotta just double down on that one with you.
You want to touch on your other one first?
It was just another mastermind that was awesome. It'll be kind of the same story.
I'll do a quick one too. They got me up on stage, the Fast Forward movement at one of their events, right after James Clear, and there were like 800 people. And that too, I had the jitters. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God. And I feel like I did great. I look back at the video. We share them on social media and stuff. But man, that was you talk about growth. That was Mark Stein was close to me through a lot of that. And I didn't even want to talk to people. I didn't want to be near people. I was like almost throwing up until I got up there. I just kind of had it happen in Miami.
Yeah, I remember.
Get away from me, everybody. I don't know how John Cheplack can be out in like the crowd shooting the shit and everything, and then get up and just hammer it.
Yeah,
I need to really.
He's done it 5,000 times. That's all it is, right? Like last night, Bradley had my 8-year-old had a soccer clinic. Yeah, and his other friends have been playing soccer a little bit more, and he's like, I don't want to go. It's too hard. I'm too nervous. This coach is a little tough. Yeah, I'm like, do you want to never get better at soccer, or do you want to just push through the first 5 or 10 of these, and then at the end you'll be just like Roman and James and all the other guys that are crushing it and loving these footwork things? Yeah, I forced him to go. He eventually was into it, and he came back. He's like, I see what you're saying. That one was easier than the last one, and I'm feeling better. Right? That's all it is. Yep. You just got to get more exposure, more reps. It's that simple, right? And that's how John could do that. Flip the switch and go, because he's done it so many times.
No, 100%.
But let's get into Nasdaq for a second. Wrap this up with that, man. Yeah. I mean, that was the coolest freaking thing ever. Yeah. That's something that I've seen on TV 400 times, 500 times, 1,000 times. Right?
And you have a finance background too.
Yeah. I mean, that was up on the screens every day for 10 years as we're opening our books. And I mean, multiple layers there, right? Like Glenn Stanford, CEO, billionaire of the company, just sat down at a table of 6 people that I was at, just had lunch with us and talked to us for 30 minutes randomly. It was intimate. It was small. It was the production of Ringing the Bell itself was insane. The mastermind afterwards, like the prestige of just being in that building and the way they operate and the way they treated us as like celebrities almost throughout that whole kind of process it was surreal. It was so freaking cool. Yeah.
And it was 8 degrees out too.
It was freezing out. It was freezing.
Yeah, I came out of that and I was just like, wow, that is a total career highlight. Like I was so proud to be in that room. And the people we were in it with, it was just, Nasdaq did a fantastic job. The mastermind was great. Spring moved over from Real to EXP.
Down in Miami, $1 billion company, 2 big announcements. That was big too. I mean, that was like a lot of energy in the room around that. Yep. And there's a lot of excitement around that. And for 2 people that have such massive businesses and to leave a lot behind because of the forward vision that they saw of the company, I thought was like really, really exciting for like a day when you're in a place talking about the stock price, talking about the trajectory of the company, talking about the value of the company, like, and to have those examples of people seeing so much value that they were willing to make that move was really kind of a cool layered like thing or thought process that really showed up that day.
Yeah. That's how I felt leaving that too. And I know when EXP announced Leo last May or so as CEO, I knew that was really a awesome decision for the company and the organization. And you talk about EXP 2.0 and where we're going right now. One of the things I always said in our business is we are number one. The data just hasn't shown up yet. And I knew that from our infrastructure as things were hitting, and we're seeing it like where it's boom, boom, boom. It's just, I don't want to say it's getting easier, but it feels like we're playing a pretty cool level of the video game right now where we're like making little tweaks. We've got an awesome culture, awesome agents, awesome leadership. Everybody's like having fun. And it becomes, just very attractive if you're on the outside. And I truly believe that when we were sitting in that room that like, no, EXP won the game. Like they beat the game, and the data is starting to all compile, and you're going to see it where, like Warren Buffett says, when the tide's going out, you'll see who's swimming naked. I truly believe, based on interactions I've had with other old school agents and are argumentative around the reality of what and how we have to perform with NAR right now, EXP led the charge with that, and I just think that they are dialed in, and you can tell that Leo, who will get on a call with an agent for agent attraction.
It's happening right now.
And also double a company's size and take it from a 3 billion to 6 billion market cap.
Yep.
It's so cool. Accessibility. It's just like, wow.
It really is, man. It's exciting. And like, that's 15 years, I think, VXP, right?
Yeah.
6 years with us here. I can't, like, my business, my life, my lifestyle is unrecognizable from 6 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. And like, as you said, we're in a fun level of this game right now. I think the compounding effect is even really kicking in. Like, there's multiple kicks in of that, right? Like, and we saw some hockey stick stuff, but I feel like we're at like another hockey stick moment right now, which is crazy because we're number one in freaking company in the month of January, right? We're still like, I feel like at the base of a hockey stick right now with just what we have built that has more room to grow, right?
Well, even like tomorrow because we keep working on it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we have the ingredients, it's like we're baking a cake and we have the best ingredients out there.
We have a bunch of obsessed dorks who just love building businesses.
And they're all playing together and we're gonna go for 9 hours or 8 hours, sit in a room and
I can't wait.
And just do awesome EOS stuff with Mark, who's our EOS consultant, and just like that, and you've never met Mark. I don't think. Yeah, you're going to be like, dude,
I've tried to self-implement EOS a few times. I can't wait to do this the right way.
And Mark's pricey too. And he's like, and that's the thing, like you get what you pay for. And if you try to, and like we've invested in the business.
Yeah.
We have really good staff. We have a really good marketing department. We have our transaction management is all US based with VAs that assist them, that interact with the agents. And they're all awesome. Everybody's just rock stars. We don't have non-rock stars in the organization.
Agreed.
So
it's awesome, man. All right, brother. Let's see what the next 6 have in store for us.